G'day. My name's Alan Gamble. Welcome back to another episode of Aussie Box Office Charts, weekend 46 for 2025. Let's dive in. Bit of an upset this week, as I didn't call this one, but Now You See Me, Now You Don't beat out The Running Man fairly closely. Now You See Me 3 came in at number one with $1.9 million, almost $2 million. The Running Man came in second with $1.5 million. And the reason I was surprised is The Running Man seemed to get most of the premium screens in Australia, because I was going to see Now You See Me 3 and I couldn't really find a good session time for it. So Predator Badlands moves down to number 3 with another $1.2 million, dropping 49% in its second week of release for a current total of $4.3 million. Regretting You moves down to 4th with another $500,000, dropping 50%, its 4th week in release for a current total of $6.3 million. And Hamilton opens in 5th, which is a filmed version of the original Broadway production that had a theatrical release. So we will dive into Now You See Me franchise after the top 10. Obviously, we can't with The Running Man because the original Running Man went in 1987 and we don't have any details for 1987 yet. I am still working on it. Moving on to 6 through 10. At number 6, we have Chainsaw Man Reze Arc with another $200,000. Its 4th week in release, dropping in 45% for a current total of $3.4 million. A Paw Patrol Christmas with another $200,000. Its 3rd week in release, dropping just 23% for a current total of just over $800,000. Begonia sticks around for another week in the top 10, with dropping 45% in its 3rd week for a current total of $1.4 million. DDPRD 2 brought in $200,000 in its opening week, which is a Hindi language romantic comedy, the follow-up from the 2019 original. And rounding out the top 10 is Black Phone 2 with $164,000 in its 5th week of release, dropping 57% for a current total of $4.4 million. Opening outside the top 10 that we flagged as upcoming, we had Wicked, the re-release that opened in 13th with $99,000. Keeper opened in 16th with $79,000. And If I Had Legs I'd Kick You opened in 21st with $45,000. Just one specialty chart to check out this week, and that is the openings of the Now You See Me franchise. And you can see there it tells a not great story for this franchise, not being in super great health, with each one in Australia opening to less than the previous. The original Now You See Me in 2013 opened to $4.1 million, unadjusted for inflation. Now You See Me 2 in 2016 opened to $2.8 million, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't just opened to just under $2 million. Not healthy, but we will see how it tracks overall compared to total gross, but for opening weekend, not a great point. Another very short and sweet segment this week. Again, top 10 for 2025. All 2025 releases, the top 10 for the year hasn't changed a dime. So pause the video here if you want to look and go through them all. Otherwise, it's the same as the last few weeks. We have Wicked for Good coming out next week, and that should make it onto these charts unless it bombs significantly within the first couple of weeks. So we'll finally have something new on this chart. But this is the top 10 for 2025 at the Australian box office. In upcoming releases, in wide release, we have Wicked for Good. Wicked returns with Part 2, again directed by John M. Chu and starring all of the same main cast: Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. In limited release, although Sisu is a little bit more wide than I expected. Sisu Road to the Revenge, Sisu 2, the follow-up from one of the, if not the best action movie of 2022. I can't wait. I'll be catching it this weekend for sure. I've already booked my ticket. For some reason, it snagged a VMAX screen, which is our premium format screens up here in Queensland. And I expected this obscure indie Finnish movie to be tucked away on the smaller screens, but it's getting a VMAX session. I've bought my ticket. It's already booked. Saturday morning. Let's go. In other limited release, we have Jay Kelly, another 2025 awards buzz movie. This one directed by Noah Baumbach, starring George Clooney and Adam Sandler. And lastly, we have Diabolic, a local Australian small-scale horror movie from Daniel J. Phillips. Across in streaming, again, not a whole lot. We have The Mighty Nine, a new animated series. The latest animated iteration of Critical Role Stories is coming to Amazon Prime on November 19th. Then we have Train Dreams, a slow burn drama that has some awards buzz, and I caught it myself at cinemas a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was really strong. If that type of movie is something you enjoy, you can see this one on Netflix on November 21st. And finally, in returning series, we have A Man on the Inside. Returns for its second season. I really like season 1, and I'll probably be catching up with this one. If you're keen on it, it's on Netflix on November 20. Only 3 movies this week for the theme of London, because I had games and shows to catch up on from my 2025 catch-up list. But let's look at what I did watch. First up was Luther, The Fallen Sun from 2023, written by Neil Cross and directed by Jamie Payne, starring Idris Elba, Cynthia Erivo, and Andy Serkis. Giving us the story of Luther being put in jail by a clever criminal and is forced to break out to right his wrongs. This movie was fine, although the tone was a bit darker than I was expecting, and it unfortunately did not measure up to the recent French TV series due to feeling a little bit rushed at points with the writing, but it was still fine. I don't regret watching it. Next up was See How They Run from 2022, written by Mark Chappell and directed by Tom George, while starring Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, and Adrian Brody. A modern mystery noir set in 1950s London, where a world-weary inspector and an overzealous rookie team up to solve a murder at a theatre. Fairly fun, light movie. Nothing amazing, but if you like noir-style mysteries, you don't get many of them nowadays, so this will 100% fit the bill. And finally was Eastern Promises from 2007, directed by David Cronenberg, and starring Viggo Mortensen, Naomi Watts, and Vincent Cassel. Giving us a Russian crime family in London and a nurse who makes inquiries with them about a girl that died, leads to her becoming more involved with them than she should. A movie that has been on my watch list for a very long time, a very, very long time, and it was a solid crime drama, pretty heavy in content, but still solid, and enjoyable is the wrong word to use, but still a good movie that held my attention. Just, yeah, definitely not enjoyable. This week's challenge is for a 2024 release. So basically, a nice, simple, easy one. Anything we missed from 2024. So there's a few people that have kicked off with Paddington in Peru, but Conclave, Deadpool and Wolverine, Furiosa, Fly Me to the Moon, Fight or Flight. Lots of options to choose from, except I've seen a lot of these movies. Let's have a look at my shortlist, which consists of Better Man, maybe I finally do Rebel Moon or Seed of a Sacred Fig. We've got The Kitchen and Juror and The Watchmen Chapter 2. So we'll see how we go. That is it for me this week. Tune in next week where we will be breaking down Wicked for Good, and hopefully it's smashing opening. We haven't had a top 5 opener in months and months and months. Also, I'll be catching Sisu Road to Revenge. Probably not Wicked, because I don't want to see too many movies right before a film festival in a couple of weeks. But I can't wait for Sisu. It's going to be great, I really hope. But yeah, Wicked for Good, we'll be comparing it to the original and seeing how it breaks down. Early words are not great. So will that put a dampener on it, or is the type of crowd to go to Wicked not the same crowd that gives a crap about reviews? We will find out next week and the week following. And yeah, that's it from me. Have a good one. Watch more movies. Bye.